Okay, today we're going to get started in a child's pose with your feet as wide as the mat and your feet touching behind you with your arms lengthened out to the front. Take a deep inhale together. Inhale and exhale. Let it all out through your third eye, all onto the mat. Feel your hips sinking deeper to your feet and your head resting against the mat, a deep stretch underneath the arms and through the back of the spine. We'll go ahead and look forward and meet in a downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. Feel all four corners of the hands rooting into the mat. Spine is long. Pressing out of the hands. And feeling stagnant in your down dog in this position. Inhale to find length in the back of your legs. And exhale to crawl forward to the top of your mat, forward fold. Bending the knees slightly, maybe swinging to the left, swinging to the right. Letting the head dangle. Shake the head yes, shake the head no, maybe grabbing both elbows. Really finding length in the spine and through each vertebrae of the back. On your next inhale, let's rise vertebrae by vertebrae all the way up to stand. Spine in one long line, feeling strength in the legs, and brings our hands to heart center. Inhale into the thumbs, pressing into the chests. Exhale to feel rooted and grounded through your mat, all the way up through the crown of the head. Maybe setting an intention here for your practice, something that you'd like to accomplish or give energy to in these 30 minutes. Maybe rolling out the neck to the left, roll out the neck to the right. Let's meet back in center. Raise the arms up above head, look up. And exhale, forward fold, bending the knees, folding over the hips, letting the neck go. On your next inhale, halfway lift, flatten the back, shoulders move back, spine gets long. And exhale, fold over the legs, bending the knees, stepping back into high plank pose. Making sure the shoulders are stacked directly over the wrists. The core is strong, the legs are active. Go ahead and hinge 2 inches forward here in your high plank, feeling strength. And exhale halfway down to low plank, parallel to the ground. This is a tough position. Go ahead and breathe one time. Inhale. And exhale, upward facing dog. Straightening the elbows, looking up, feeling a deep stretch in your front core. And exhale back to downward facing dog. Pressing out of the hands, feeling length in the low spine and in the neck. Backs of the hamstrings, maybe sinking the heels down to the mat, 1 inch. Go ahead and look in between your hands and step to forward fold at the front of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift, straight spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale to rise, arms come overhead, look up. And exhale, dive, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, plank pose, chaturanga, to upward facing dog, and we'll meet back in a downward facing dog. Remember, child's pose is always there for you. Listen to your body and take a rest when you need it. Let's go ahead and meet in a forward fold at the top of our mat. Halfway lift, fold again, rise, arms overhead, look up, hands to heart center, forward fold, all the way back down. Inhale, half lift, one more time. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, move through your flow. Chaturanga to up dog to down dog, and we'll meet in a downward facing dog. Inhale, look in between your hands, bend the knees deeply, either jump or hop in between your hands at the front of the mat. Let's meet in a forward fold. We'll sink the hips, bring the arms up for chair pose, Utkatasana. Feeling the weight in our heels, strength in our back and thighs. Remembering to breathe, inhales and exhales. Noticing if the mind wants to immediately come out of this pose, just go ahead and tell it a few more breaths. Exhale, forward fold, bend over the legs. Halfway lift, straighten the spine. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, plank pose, chaturanga to upward facing dog, and meet back in a downward facing dog. Let's inhale the right leg up and back for a three-legged dog. Feel energy and length shooting from the hands all the way through the heel. And exhale, right knee, right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Drive it through the center. Exhale, three-legged dog. Right knee, left elbow, twist over. Try to really touch your elbow here. And three-legged dog. Go ahead and step that right leg through for low lunge. Really finding stability in the legs here. Using blocks if you need it. We'll go ahead and flip that back foot down and meet in a warrior two pose. Driving the right knee directly over the right ankle. Gaze goes over the right hand, arms are strong, core is strong. Checking for that heel to arch alignment. We'll move into a side ankle pose. So right arm comes to right knee, left arm comes overhead for a full side body stretch. Feel the breath move to your core muscles and the opening in your hips. And energy going from the tip of the fingers all the way down through the toes. Full side body extension here. Go ahead and reverse your warrior. Right arm comes overhead, left arm goes behind the back or down the thigh. Making sure to keep that bend in the front knee. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, plank pose to chaturanga. Upward facing dog, and we'll meet back in a downward facing dog. Left leg rises. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Shoulders over wrists. Three-legged dog, bring it back. Knee to nose. Driving it up the center, really feeling strength in the core. Three-legged dog. And left knee to right elbow. Really twist and use those obliques here. Three-legged dog. Go ahead and bring it back up. And exhale, step that left leg through for a low lunge. Setting up for our standing poses for strength and balance. Go ahead and spin the right leg down, open up, warrior two. Checking in that the front knee is tracking over the front toes. There's a deep bend in that front leg and your arms are parallel to your shoulder. Move into side angle pose, so left arm to left knee, right arm reaches overhead. Full side body stretch here. Feeling strength in the legs, strength in the core, spiraling the rib cage open. Feeling energy all the way from the right heel through the right fingertips here. It's reverse warrior. Right arm becomes behind, left arm reaches overhead, side body stretch, keeping the legs the same. Cartwheel the hands, frame the front foot, step back, plank, to upward facing dog, to downward facing dog. Let's look in between the hands, step or jump to the top of your mat, and we will meet in a forward fold position. Rise up to chair pose, sinking the hips, bringing the arms next to the ears, another strong yogi pose. Let's bring our arms out in front of us here, sinking the hips deeper, deeper. And as we sit down on the floor and move into a boat pose. So legs are lifted, arms are lifted, feel a string pulling from your chest to the ceiling. Strong core engagement here. Remembering to breathe. Notice if the breath gets tighter here as the ribs contract. Go ahead and grab onto the back of your thighs if your arms feel like they've had enough. This is an extremely nurturing position for the core and the back muscles, massaging the kidneys and the intestines, and really strengthening the core to assist in our posture. Maybe twisting over to the right, twisting over to the left, getting those obliques in action. Just a few more counts here in your strong boat pose, energy shooting through the legs. And let's go ahead and lower down. Legs are lifted, head is lifted for 3, 2, 1. And lower down. Full spine on the mat, head on the mat. Let that go. Taking a full body stretch, bringing your arms overhead. Feeling all that core work we just did. Taking a moment to thank yourself for arriving today. Go ahead and bring your knees into the chest, rock up and down, spine, giving the massage to the back, and eventually flipping into a downward facing dog. Let's look in between the hands, bend the knees deeply, jump or step to the front of your mat, forward fold, straighten for a halfway lift, fold, and rise up, look up, hands overhead. Let's bring our hands to heart center here. Reconnecting with that intention that we set. Inhaling deeply through the ribs, feel the ribs expand 360 degrees, and exhale everything out. We're going to move into dancer's pose, so go ahead and take your right hand to grab your right foot, zip the legs up here, and left arm comes next to left ear. For dancer's pose, we'll go ahead and kick the right leg into the right arm and lean forward with our body. Left arm leading the way, right leg pulling behind us for balance and strength. Using the left leg as for stability, right leg to really propel us forward. Open through the chest, open through the hips here. And then we'll go ahead and release the right leg and move into a warrior three pose. So hands to heart center, leg is still lifted, spine is long, feel energy kicking from that back heel. And move into a standing split. So go ahead and drop the head, drop the shoulders, leg is still lifted. And go ahead and bring that right leg to meet your left, forward fold. Inhale for a half lift, reset the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And take an inhale and exhale to move to the other side. Left leg kicks up, left arm grabs the ankle of the left leg, right arm reaches directly next to the right ear. Go ahead and tilt forward into the dancer's pose. Feel strength in the right leg, energy moving from the right fingertips all the way through the left thigh bone. And hands to heart center, let go of that foot and move into a warrior three pose here. So spine is long, strength in that left leg lifting up, toes are flexed, keeping the neck in line with the spine here. And on your next exhale, go ahead and drop the head and the shoulders for standing split pose, bringing that left leg as far up as it can go. And exhale, left leg meets right at the top of your mat, forward fold. Halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step the feet back, and we'll meet in a downward facing dog or child's pose. We'll move into pigeon here, so right knee to right wrist. Go ahead and set yourself up. Slowly roll into our pigeon. Foot is flexed to protect the knee. It's a deep hip opening stretch on your right leg. Notice if any thoughts or expectations come up here. The hips tend to hold a lot of emotion. Settle into the pose, breathe deeply, let everything go through your third eye, forehead, in between your brows melts, face melts. Let go of any gripping. Go ahead and begin to crawl yourself back. Arms come next to the hips here. Back toes tuck under into a three-legged dog. Go ahead and shake that out. Maybe drawing big circles with your right leg to the left, and to the right. We'll meet back in a stagnant down dog. And move to the left side. So left leg lifts, left knee to left wrist, right ankle to right wrist if possible. Go ahead and prop yourself up here. Find length. And then exhale to slowly let your upper body come down over that left hip. Noticing if the side feels different than the other side. Letting go of any judgment. Using a block, if that feels good to you, maybe under the hip if it's not reaching the ground. Notice your edge. Don't go over or under. right where you can feel comfortable in this pose. Noticing if any thoughts or emotions come up, that's normal here. Just try to relax into it and let those thoughts go. Begin to walk yourself back. Arms come back towards the hips, removing the block if you've used one. Going back into the three-legged dog, maybe circling out the left leg. 2 large circles clockwise, 2 large circles counterclockwise to really release the hip muscles. Meeting back in a downward facing dog. And walk to the front of your mat. We'll meet in a forward fold. We'll move into a gorilla position here. So sliding the hands underneath the feet so that the toes are touching the wrists. Bending the knees as much as needed here. Stepping on your hands and restricting the blood flow from your hands, maybe giving your wrists a massage with your toes. Feeling a deep stretch in your hamstrings, low back, and armpits. Go ahead and release the hands, shake out the wrists, shake out the head. Sway from side to side. We'll go ahead and meet on our mats, sitting and slowly lowering to our backs. Bringing the feet underneath the hips. So you can lightly graze your heels with your hands here. Feel the full spine on the mat and press your hips up into a bridge pose. Maybe clasping the hands underneath. Using the glute and thigh muscles to really lift, maybe an inch higher. Breathing into the hips. And exhale, go ahead and roll down. Feeling the whole length of the spine on the mat. We'll go ahead and bring our bottoms of our feet to touch in a butterfly pose, laying here. We'll bring one hand to the belly and one hand to the third eye on our forehead. Go ahead and feel the rise and fall of the breath on the belly. See if you can guide the breath from belly to lungs to throat, and then exhale. Connecting your inner intuition of your gut and your stomach to the intuition of your brain and everything you learn and experience in a day. Go ahead and bring the knees in. Arms out to a T. We'll dip the legs over to the left for a spinal twist on the floor. Maybe gazing over the right wrist if that's comfortable to you. Letting the body calm down, the heart rate calm down. Inhale back through center. Knees and chin come to the center, and go ahead and dip the legs over to the right. Gaze comes over to the left. Full spine twisting from the tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. Go ahead and inhale, come back to center. Knees hug into the chest. Move into a happy baby pose, so grabbing the heels or the arches of the foot, bringing the knees towards the armpits. Reversing the blood flow through our legs. Moving through any other postures our body's calling for. Maybe a shoulder stand. Doing any last movements, maybe circling out the wrists, circling out the ankles. Let's squeeze into the tightest ball we've been in today. So bring your forehead to your knees, really squeeze, and exhale, Shavasana pose, final resting pose. Let's take one deep inhale together and exhale through the mouth. Letting go of all movement and judgments here. There's nothing left to do. Begin to deepen the breath. Bringing small movements to the hands and the feet. Maybe moving the head back and forth, reaching the arms up. And bring the knees in towards the chest. Roll over to one side in a fetal position. Taking a breath here. And eventually meeting in a seated pose with our hands at heart center. Taking a minute to thank yourself today for coming to practice. Moving energy through your body, bow your head. Namaste.